Hello everyone, welcome to Graphic Designers Workshop. Let us see how to design these company logos in Illustrator. So let us start. Let us start with NBC logo. So simply import the logo and let's scale it down. Let's scale it a little bit to the size of our artboard. And now what we'll do is we will log the layer. We'll just use the reference and we will trace the reference. And I will take a new layer and you'll rename the bottom layer as the reference layer. And here we will actually create the logo in the next layer, in the layer above the reference layer. Right. So the first thing we are supposed to do is we'll select an ellipse and we'll start with this red color shape. And if we want a perfect ellipse, we can just hold shift and create a perfect ellipse. So we can just use alt and shift to center scale. Right. So here we can see, and what we can do is we can slightly reduce the opacity here so that we can see the shape behind this ellipse. Right. Then what we'll do is we will select the polygon, and for the polygon shape we will just put 3 sides. Right. And we will rotate the polygon. And then we will adjust the polygon, and we will also reduce the opacity for the polygon. Right. We'll adjust it properly. We will intersect the polygon with the ellipse, and now we will select the direct selection tool and adjust the points of this polygon, and we will just adjust it according to the shape of the logo. That's it. So now the next step is we have to unite the ellipse and polygon. To unite the ellipse and polygon, we will select both the ellipse and the polygon by holding shift, and we will open the Pathfinder. See, the Pathfinder is added to my workspace, and in case you can't find the Pathfinder, you can go to window menu, and from window menu we can select Pathfinder. We can also use the keyboard shortcut Shift Ctrl plus F9. So simply select the Pathfinder, and in Pathfinder we will just click on Unite. So now we have united this shape. So we can check here. Right. And we'll do some small changes for this shape. So we can see here there are some unwanted points here, and we can delete them. So to delete them, just select the direct selection tool and select that particular point, and here we have this delete anchor point tool. Simply click on that point using the delete anchor point tool. That's it. So we can actually delete some unwanted points. That's it. So now we are done. So once we have properly created the shape, the next step we are supposed to do is we will just adjust the shape here, and we will create duplicates of this shape. Just take one more duplicate here, and let's slightly increase the opacity for this shape and we will also rotate the shape. Just rotate it properly, and we'll just select the direct selection tool and just click on the point and just adjust it according to the shape of the logo. Just we have to move and rotate and just adjust it properly. Right. Now we will just continue completing the shapes. Just take one more duplicate here and we will rotate it, and then we will select the direct selection tool and then just adjust the points according to the logo. And here some unwanted points are there, so we'll just zoom into that point and we can simply delete that point. Right. And we can also adjust this point according to the logo. So don't spoil the shape. So in case the shape is spoiled, it will not be nice. So make sure that the shapes are perfectly in line with the logo. Right. So here also we can slightly adjust the shape here. Just hold Alt and then move the point properly. Right. This looks better. So now we got the three shapes on the left side of the logo. So we can just select three of them and we'll keep it to the left side of our artboard. And see, we now have to create the shapes on the right side of the logo. We don't have to create them again because they are just the duplicates. So all we have to do is simply we'll just take duplicate of these three logos and we will flip them. Simply right click on the transform and here we have the option reflect. So just use reflect and here the axis has to be vertical, and then simply we can click OK. That's it. So we got a basic shape. We can just move it a little bit close. So we can align the shape that we have created with the actual logo. We can check how it's looking. Right. So it's almost perfectly in line with the actual logo. So now our next task is to just apply the colors that are there in the logo. So first we will increase the opacity for all these shapes. So for all these shapes, let's increase the opacity. And then let's start applying the same colors that are found in the NBC logo. So we will select an eyedropper tool and then first we'll start with this shape and then we will just pick this color. That's it. And then we will continue with these shapes also. Just pick the colors. So now we got all the colors. Oh, just a minute, we have missed it. Right, so now we have got all the colors. We can see some small constriction here, so we will also create that constriction. So it's very easy, just we have to keep the logo a little bit close to the reference, and what we can do is we can just create a point over here. Just create one point, and we will also create one more point. Right. So then we can just select that particular point here, and just a minute. We can create a point over here, and then we'll select the direct selection tool, and then just pull this point inwards like this, something like this. And we can also just create it a little bit rounded, something like this. Right. Don't try to spoil the shape. We will just create one more point, and we will just zoom into this one, then zoom into this point, and then we will make it a little bit rounded, so something like this. So just we have to be patient and adjust it. That's it. And in case we want to make it a little bit big, we can do it. So just we'll select these 2 points, and we will use shift and down arrow. Oh sorry, not shift and down arrow. Let's use a normal arrow keys and make the just the constriction a little bit big. That's it. So here it looks more rounded in the reference, so what we'll do is we'll make it more rounded here. That's it. So we have created an NBC logo. So now one thing we will do is we will add some reflections to this logo. Even though in the reference we don't see any reflections, we'll make our logo more interesting. So we'll add some small reflections on our shapes of our logo. So what we'll do is simply we can take a pen tool, and we can take one more layer, and then we can just create a rough shape that represents a reflection. So something like this, and here we will just give some color to this. We can give a simple white color if we want. Right. And we can also just apply a gradient to it. So here we have the gradient. So in the gradient we can do one thing. We can just select one of the point, and we'll make that point a 0%. So something like this. So now we can see. And we will also increase the white amount, so something like this. So now it has some kind of reflection. So something like this. So one thing we can do is we can also combine this with a blending mode. So the blending mode is over here. So we can try different blending modes. Let's try overlay, right? And also we can try the other blending modes such as screen. So we can see here, and see there is the edges here are very sharp. So what we can do is we can simply give it a simple blur. So how we can give blur? We can select the shape here in effect menu. We have blur and we'll apply Gaussian blur. So something like this, so that the edges are a little bit soft. And we can slightly reduce the opacity here. So now it looks interesting. We can also increase the blur amount a little bit, and we need to apply a new effect. Slightly increase it, right? So here we have applied some reflections, or we can say shades. So we'll do the same thing. We will also apply the same thing for other shapes. So something like this. We can alter the shape a little bit so that it doesn't look same for all the shapes. So we can just alter it a little bit. So we can just take the duplicates here. So we can flip the shape. So we'll just keep it for the shapes on the right side. That's it. So we'll so try to make it different. Try to make these reflections different looking so that there will be some reality. So we'll also apply some blur amount to this. So simply we'll apply some extra blur to this. Right. Ensure that you don't show any sharp edges for the reflections. That's it. Right. So now we have completed our reflections also, and now what we'll do is we will just create a white color background and we'll put it behind our NBC logo. So simple white color we'll select. That's it. So this completes our NBC logo. So we can delete the reference and we can group our logo. We'll just use the center scale option to scale it. Right. And now we will export it as an SVG file. Simply we'll go to File, Export, and export as an SVG file. So here we'll just say NBC logo final. That's it. And we can check the output. So this is the NBC logo. Let's start creating the logo for this company called Shell. So this is a famous company for petroleum and other products. Right. So let's log the layer. This is the reference image of the Shell logo, and we'll take a new layer above the reference layer, and we'll start designing the logo now. So first thing what we'll do is we will select an ellipse. We'll use Alt and Shift, and we'll just create an ellipse that is bigger than the size of the reference. So we will just reduce the opacity so that we can see the reference. Right. So then what we'll do is we will just take a rectangle and we will minus some part of the ellipse, the bottom part of the ellipse. Right. So we'll just select it, select the ellipse, select the rectangle, and then here we have an option minus front in the Pathfinder. So simply click on the minus front option. Right. Now the next step is we will just select a rectangle, and we will also reduce the opacity for this rectangle so that we can see the reference. And now we will just select the points for this rectangle and we will adjust it according to the reference. Right. We'll create one more rectangle. And also reduce the opacity for this. Select the direct selection tool. Just adjust these points. Right. So now what we need to do is here we have a small elliptical shape, a semicircular shape here. So for that what we need to do is we'll just create a small ellipse. We can use Alt and Shift to create ellipse from the center, and then we will just place it over here. We can slightly increase its size, just a small amount. Then what we can do is, see, we can select all these shapes and simply we will click on Unite in the Pathfinder. Right. See, now we got the shape. Right. So we will just take one more duplicate of this shape and we will give this shape the red color. We'll give it a red color. Right. So now what we'll do is we will try to just create the inner shell logo. So we will just align it to the reference, and we will also reduce its opacity so that we can check the reference. Right. We'll slightly increase it. Right. And we can also just try to match it properly. In case it's not matching properly, we can match it. Right. So now we need to create these constrictions here, or these gaps. We need to create these gaps. So to create these gaps, what we need to do is we will select a polygon. Just select a polygon that has only 3 sides, and what we'll do is we will just rotate it, and we will adjust the polygon. We can change the color of the polygon so that we can see some variation. We'll give it green color, and now we will adjust the shape of this polygon, or we can say triangle. So simply we can drag it till here, and we can just check the reference here. Right, we need to keep it a little bit outside our center shape, our main shape actually. So we'll just take one more duplicate and we will rotate it. We need to adjust it properly, and we will just select the direct selection tool and then just adjust it properly. Right, and we'll create one more. Just keep adjusting, just follow the reference, and let's keep adjusting the shapes. So we need to match it properly. So just we are about to finish off our shapes. And if you think it's not too interesting to watch all these shapes being created and being adjusted, you can skip to the next section. The section where I will be just finishing off the logo. So we are almost done. Just we need to take one more shape, that's it. So just you have to adjust this one shape, that's it. So that's it. So now I have created all these triangles. Now is the time for us to create the gaps. We can just select everything and we can just keep it to the right side. And now what we can do is, first thing is we will first unite all these green shapes, the green polygons. So simply we'll select all these greens and then we'll click unite. So now these greens are all united, and now what we need to do is we only have to just select both the greens and the shape, the backside shape, and all we have to do is click on minus friend in the pathfinder. So we can see here. That's it. And we will increase the opacity here. Right. So here we have got the shape, and then we will place this yellow exactly over this red. That's it. And we can slightly adjust it if we want. So something like this. So that's it. So we got the shape. We have completed the logo. So now we can delete the reference and just we will place it at the center of our artboard, and we'll also group the entire logo and we will place it exactly at the center of our artboard. Right. So we have quickly completed the shell logo. So now we will do the same thing. We will export it as an SVG file. Go to File, Export, and Export as, and simply we will put the name Shell Logo Final, and we'll select the SVG format and click on Export. So this is our shell logo. So the next logo we will be doing is the logo of McDonald's. So this logo at the first glance may seem to be a little simple, but this is not that simple actually. We can see the shape of this logo. Here at the bottom we can see it is wide and on top it is thin. So we need to find a way to create this kind of shape, and there is also symmetry in this shape. Means it's enough if we create one side of this letter M. So let's start doing. So this is the reference. So I will lock the reference. I will take a new layer and I will start selecting the pen tool. Make sure that I select a dark stroke and you turn off the film. Right. And let's start creating the shape. Let's start creating the shape. So I am starting from the bottom, and then I will just slowly proceed towards the top, and then I will just finish the shape over here. That's it. And we will use the direct selection tool and just adjust the shape properly. That's it. Right. So I have just created this one line, but what we need is we need this width. Actually we need the shape to be a little bit wide at the bottom and it should be thin on top. So if you want to create that kind of shape, so we have a special tool here. So the particular special tool is a width tool. Here we have this width tool. The keyboard shortcut is Shift plus W. So let us use the width tool and we will expand this point. So we'll just click over here and we will just drag to the right side. That's it. So we got the shape, and we can also just click over here on top and also just try to adjust the shape, and we can also do it over here, and we will do it at the end point also. So something like this. Right. So this looks much better actually. So we got the shape of the letter M, the one side of the letter M, and that is all we need actually. So then we can simply duplicate this shape, but before that we have to expand it. So how we can expand it? We will just go to object and select expand appearance. And why we need to expand? Because currently this is not a shape, this is a stroke. So we need to convert the stroke to a shape. So to convert the stroke to a shape, we need to go to object, and here we need to select expand appearance. Right. Now it is a shape, a definite shape. So we will just place it over here, and then what we'll do is we'll just take a duplicate. So just use Alt and create one more duplicate, and we will flip it. Just right click on it, and here we have transform and select reflect. That's it. Simply click OK, and then we'll just place it over here. That's it. And then what we need to do is we just have to create this particular shape, the center shape. So for that we will use the pen tool, and we'll just trace this particular shape. That's it, and we will adjust it properly. That's it. We got the shape, and now we can just unite all these and combine them into a single shape. Just open the Pathfinder and just click unite. That's it. So we have just finished the McDonald's logo, and all we have to do is just change the color. Here we have the eyedropper, and we will just pick the color from this reference. That's it. We have just created a carbon copy of the original. Right. And one change we will do, that is we will create a red color background. So we'll just select a rectangle, and we'll give a pure red color for this rectangle, and then we will just right click on it, and we will just send it behind our M. That's it, and we can delete the reference. That's it. And we have completed our McDonald's logo, and now we will export it. Simply go to File, Export, and export as an SVG file. Just we'll put the name McDonald's final. That's it. And now we will check the final output. So this is the simple McDonald's logo. So the next logo that we are going to design is the Pepsi logo. Right. So we will log the layer, and we will give the name reference, and we'll take a new layer above the reference layer. And to create the Pepsi logo, we need to select the ellipse, and we want to create a perfect ellipse, and make sure that you turn off the fill and make the stroke active, and we will create an ellipse from the center. So simply use Alt and Shift. Right. So now we will just place the ellipse exactly at the center. Right. Right. So once we have placed it at the center, now our next task is we need to create these two sections, the red section and the blue section. So for that, what we need to do is select the pen tool. We'll first create the section for this red portion. So just select the pen tool and we'll just create a path. So we have created a path for this red section, and now we will adjust it a little bit. Right. Now we will create a path for this blue section. So just create it carefully. That's it. And now we will adjust it a little bit. Right. So just we are trying to match the reference so that we are going to get an exact carbon copy of the original logo. Right. So once we are done with this, we can just simply draw a selection around the parts, and we'll move these parts just to the right side of the artboard. So now what we'll do is, so we will use a tool that will fill the sections with the appropriate color. So that is shape builder. So here we have something called shape builder. So what it will do is, it will fill the sections with the colors that we select. So what we need to do is, first we need to draw a selection from outside, something like this, and now we will select the shape builder, and here we have the colors panel, the color panel. In case the color panel is not open, you can open it from window menu. So just go to window menu and select color. You can also use the keyboard shortcut F6. Right. So what we need to do is, simply we will select a red color, and then see, the moment you select a red color, you can see the section is highlighted. You can just select the red color and just click on the section. Oh, I have not selected the red color. Okay, right. And now we will select the blue color and then click on the blue section. That's it. Here we got the colors. We don't need the center segment. So to subtract the center segment or to remove the center segment or section, we just have to hold Alt and click on this section. That's it. So we have deleted that center section. And we will also delete these unwanted parts that are extending outside the logo. Just use the direct selection tool. Just click on that point and delete. That's it. That's it. So now we got the shape. Now what we'll do is, just select this red section, select the eyedropper, and we'll just apply the same red color that is on the logo. And also we'll do the same thing for the blue. Just select the blue section, select the eyedropper, and then pick the same blue color. Right. Now what we'll do is, we'll just select one more ellipse, just hold Alt and Shift and create a perfect ellipse, and we'll keep it behind our actual logo. So just right click, arrange and send to back, and we'll give it a pure white color, right, just something like this. We can adjust it properly, just adjust it. We can use Alt and Shift. That's it. And now we'll do one last thing, that is we'll just group these shapes, and we'll just create one blue color background. We'll select a rectangle, and we'll pick the same blue color, and now we'll just keep it behind our logo. Just right click, arrange and select send to back. That's it. And we can just delete the reference. That's it. We got the carbon copy of our Pepsi logo. And to add an extra bit of attraction to our logo, we can create some reflections, just like how we did for the NBC logo. So what we will do is we'll just take a new layer, and here I will just create a small shape, and I will give it a pure white color, and we can adjust it a little bit. Right. So now what we need to do is we will just select the shape, go to effect, and here we have the blur, and we'll select Gaussian blur. The Gaussian blur radius has to be a little bit high. Right. Now we will slightly reduce its opacity. And we can also give it a screen blending mode. Right. We'll reduce the opacity even further. That's it. Just to add an extra bit of attraction, I have given some shine. And we can also do the same thing at the bottom. So we'll just slightly adjust the shape here, and we will just select the shape, go to effect, blur, Gaussian blur. That's it. And we can slightly reduce its opacity. Right. Right. So now we will export our logo. So we can actually fit it exactly to our document or artboard. So what we need to do is first we'll activate our artboard, Shift+O, and we will just snap the edges of our artboard to our logo. That's it. Now we will export. Go to File, Export, and we will export again as an SVG file. So simply put Pepsi Logo Final. So now we have completed our fourth logo, which is a Pepsi logo. The final logo in this series is the Apple logo. So let's start creating this logo. So just like always, we will just log the reference and we'll take a new layer, and we'll just type Apple logo, right? So what we need to do is we'll just trace our logo. We have to turn off the fill, and we'll keep the stroke active, and we will start from this point. So just we have to trace it properly. So here just I have dragged the point too much. So what we need to do is we can simply hold Alt and then just move the bottom point a little bit close to our logo, right? And then we will continue the shape, but one thing is we'll just make this point a little bit small, make the handle a little bit small, and then we will just continue to trace our shape. So again we'll just create a shape here, and here what we'll do is, see, we will not create this cut, we will not trace this cut here. So what we'll do is we'll just click a point over here, and then we will just create a shape in this way, because for the cut we'll be using the pathfinder, right? Just drag it like this and hold Alt and just make this point a little bit small, right? And then just create one more handle here, and then we will finish off the shape, right? So we have traced the apple, but we have to improve it a little bit. So here we have to adjust these points so that our logo matches the reference, right? So something like this, right? So we have created an exact replica, but we still need to adjust it a little bit. Make sure that the corners are smooth. The corners should not be sharp. If they are sharp, we are not going to get a proper shape. The curvature has to be smooth, right? So now we got the shape. So what we'll do is we'll just keep it to the side, and we have to create this leaf also. So what we need to do is we'll just select this point and we'll make it sharp, right? And how we have made it sharp, I have just selected the point, and here we have an option, convert selected anchor points to corner, right? So now we will just adjust it and we'll match our logo. So we'll also get this one, we'll just try to match. It's okay if you don't match it 100% accurately, right? So once we have done the tracing, so the next thing is we can fine tune our shape using the direct selection tool. So here we have a little bit of problem, so we have to just adjust it, right? So we have adjusted our shape, right? So now the next step is we have to fill color. So we'll just fill some color. So we can activate our fill and we will turn off our stroke. To turn off the stroke, we can use the shortcut slash. The slash which is besides the shift key, right? And we will also activate the fill, right? And we will also apply color to this leaf, right? So then what is the next step? So the next step is we have to create this cut. So we'll just keep our logo over the reference and we will reduce its opacity so that we can see where the cut is, right? So now we will select an ellipse and we will just move the ellipse so that it intersects our apple, the apple shape that we have created, right? So now all we have to do is select the apple and select the ellipse, and then just we have to use the pathfinder, and in pathfinder we have to use minus front. That's it. So now we got the cut. We can just keep it, keep these two shapes outside, and we can increase the opacity for this apple, right? So now we got the shape, we got the exact shape. So now what we are supposed to do is we can give some extra bit of attraction to this apple shape. So let's not give the same boring gray color. Let's give some metallic coloring to our apple. Right. So what we will do is let's hide the reference. Let's select our logo. Let us select our logo, and what we'll do is we will just open the swatches. So here are the swatches. So in case the swatches panel is not open, we can go to window, and here we have swatches, right? And in swatches we will just go to the swatch libraries menu, and in swatch libraries menu we have gradients, and in gradients we have different types of gradients, but we will be selecting metals, right? So I have selected this metallic gradient, so I will just apply a silver metal to this apple, right? And we will adjust the gradient. So how to adjust the gradient? We will activate the annotator. Simply hit G and this annotator appears. This annotator will change the position of the gradient so that it looks more attractive, right? So we can just drag, and also we can just move these points, and we can adjust the gradient. Now it looks nice. And we will also do the same thing for the leaf. And one thing we can do is, if we want to the same gradient for this leaf, we can just use the eyedropper and then just click here. See, the leaf too got the same gradient. The position of the gradient on the leaf is matching with that of the apple, right? So we will activate the annotator again, and we can just slightly just adjust it properly. We can rotate it, right? Just keep it in a diagonal manner. It looks more attractive, right? This looks better, right? So now we have created a silver apple. One extra attraction that we'll be giving is we will try to create a stroke for this. So what we'll do is we will just activate our stroke, and then here we will just select a stroke here. So now our apple got a stroke. We'll increase the stroke width to 2 points, so we can see here, and we'll also do the same thing for the leaf. We'll just give it a stroke of 2 points. So see here, and one more attraction that we'll do that we will create is we will create a background, and for this background we will give a different gradient, and we will turn off the stroke for this. And for this background we will also use a swatch, but in swatches libraries we'll go to gradients, and in gradients we'll select gems and jewels. So we can select gems and jewels, and we will apply a greenish, or we can say this emerald swatch. It is an inbuilt gradient, so you don't have to create the gradient from the scratch. It will save a lot of our time. And now we will just right click, arrange, and we will select send to back. Right. We will group our apple simply by hitting Ctrl G. And one last attraction is we can also give some shadow to our apple. So to give shadow, we'll go to effect, and here we have an option stylize, and we'll click on drop shadow, and we can see we can just stick to the default values. In case we want to change anything, we can change the direction of the shadow. Right. This much is enough. Right. So here we have created an apple logo, and like always we will also export this logo. We can slightly increase the size, and now we'll go to file, export, and we'll select export as, and we will just type apple logo final. That's it. So this is the last and final logo that we have completed. So I hope you like this tutorial. Please do like, subscribe, share, and if you have anything to say, do comment. See you again.